Cracker Barrel, what are you doing? You're making everybody go crazy. Now, I want to know your thoughts about this in the comment. Now, I'm a country boy, and I love that restaurant the way it's been all these years. Now, I want to recreate my favorite meal from there that I get all autumn season long every single time that I go there. But today I'm going to make it healthy because I had fatty liver disease, GERD, Barrett's esophagus, gastritis, a cyst on my brain, a cyst on my liver, hypertension, and pre-diabetes. And I was able to reverse those things once I started eating all natural food the way that God created it. So, what I have going right now, I got 2 New York strips, and I'm going to cook those to medium rare. I'm a medium rare type of guy. Well, my wife likes hers medium well, so I'm going to cook hers a little bit longer. But I have a sweet potato down there baking in the oven. Now, my favorite meal from Cracker Barrel every year is the steak, the asparagus, and the sweet potato. But I'm not going to, put any candied pecans on it or anything like that. What I want to do, and I want to explain why I put this stuff on there, is I want to cook it. I want to cook the steak in butter. That would be Kerrygold butter. This is just pasteurized cream and salt. That is it. Grass-fed, grass-finished cows. And I'm going to put some of this inside my sweet potato too. And instead of putting sugar or anything like that on there, marshmallows and all that, I'm going to put some salt, some nutmeg, allspice, and some cinnamon on there. Why? Because I was a pre-diabetic too, and when you put the cinnamon on things like starchy potatoes and things like that, it helps fight that blood sugar spike. Now, back to the Cracker Barrel thing. I want to know your thoughts on it. Like, it's crazy to me that the stock plummeted the way that it did just because they're trying to rebrand. Now, my personal opinion, it doesn't really matter, but my opinion is I think rebranding is a good thing. Again, I love the old country design that they had and the man on the logo and the barrel and all that. But, see, times change, and they're trying to do a test. And, if it works, then they're going to keep it. If it doesn't work, then they'll probably go back to the way it was. I mean, I would if I had a company like that made all that money. I would stick with what the people are happy with. But split testing, I think there's nothing wrong with it. And I know a lot of the older people's upset. Now, if there's more information that I don't know about, please let me know in the comments because I'm clueless when it comes to this. I just heard about it on my way home, and I had the idea that I'm going to tell my story and, make these steaks and all that good stuff. So, again, the stock plummeting, that's nuts to me that just because of that, stock goes crazy. I don't know. But, yeah, just in case you haven't heard my story, I had Barrett's esophagus, GERD, fatty liver disease, and all these things. And I have a TikTok now that took off a little bit, and I'm trying to get people here because, you say one thing wrong, even though it's factual, that it happened to you, that these things fixed you, TikTok always puts a ban on your videos and stuff. And now I have a ban warning, so I'm trying to get everybody here so we can keep the content rolling out because I love knowing that my story is helping, inspiring others, and giving them hope that these things can be reversed. Now, I also live a lifestyle of fasting, okay? Now, what fasting does is for the first 8 to 14 hours, your glycogen stores in your liver and the sugar that's in your bloodstream is going to be depleted. Your body's going to feed off that. See, when you don't have any food in your stomach, your body's always looking for a fuel source. So it's going to go after that glycogen first. Now, from 14 all the way up to 18, 20 hours, you're going to start going into ketosis. Now your body's going to stop feeding off carbs and sugar, and it's going to start feeding off fat. Okay? Now, once you get into that 24-hour mark and above, your body goes into the most important thing that I think is great for everybody's health, and I suggest everybody do this, and that is called autophagy. Now, what autophagy is, it's a Greek word for self-eating. Okay? So, your body's going to start searching for fuel, and it's going to go after your damaged cells and your damaged tissue, which is what Barrett's is, right? So we want to help that. We want to get that inflammation out of your esophagus. We want to get those cells ate up and used up as fuel. So once you get into autophagy, that's when this process begins. So I think it's very, very important to get into that stage. But like I said earlier, I was carnivore for 8 weeks, but then after that, I started incorporating and bringing back in healthy carbohydrates in the form of fruit, honey, some vegetables, and I want to see how my body reacted to them. So what I did is I brought them out one at a time. Like you can see a watermelon right back here. So let's say I'm eating the meat like I normally do. That would be beef, butter, bacon, eggs, breakfast, right? And after that, I would bring in 1 piece of watermelon. And I didn't do any other type of carbohydrate at all that day. It was only one time brought back in because I had to see if that would bother me. If it bothered me, upset my reflux or anything, then I'd done away with it. And if it didn't bother me, then I kept it. So I did this with many different foods all throughout this process, and I'm still going through it right now, 1.5 years later. But I just want to encourage you, if you have these issues, they can be reversed. You just have to put in a lot of work. And I want to show you the things that I eat that help me. Now, everybody reacts to things differently, so if you ever want to try anything that I suggest on this channel, just remember that I am not a medical doctor. I'm just sharing my experience with you to give you hope that these things can be reversed and fixed. Start off with the steak. Get my sweet potato out. Now I don't have the broccoli or the asparagus because I'm trying to cut out vegetables a little bit more because sometimes I don't react to them very well. I'm not saying that you will react the same way that I do. I'm just sharing my experience. So we're going to cut this open. I'll put this sweet potato on for like 1 hour and 15 minutes on 325 degrees. So I want to show you again how I make this healthy, how I put my butter on there, all that good stuff. This steak is just seasoned with salt and pepper and some turmeric. Turmeric helps fight inflammation. A scoop of that Kerrygold butter, and we're going to smash this in there and make sure all of it is covered in butter. Have you ever played that game, the little peg game at Cracker Barrel though? Is there a trick to that? I think I've only won that game out of all the years that I've ate there, maybe 1 or 2 times. So let me know in the comments if there's a certain trick to that. Going to add some pink Himalayan sea salt. Salt has magnesium and a bunch of minerals in there that you need. So I'm going to add some allspice. And normally I would add nutmeg as well, but I'm all out of it. Cinnamon. So now we're just going to mix all that in there. Again, this right here, fatty red meat, good for your digestive system. You got the sweet potato, it's very good for your pancreas, and you have cinnamon in here, which helps fight against blood sugar spikes. I want you to think about something really quick. What's the first thing that God gave a baby to consume whenever that baby's born? Fat. From the mother. Why? Because that helps the baby's brain grow. It helps it develop. Why does that change when we are adults? So please consider subscribing, and there's going to be a lot more long form videos coming out soon. You can go check out some of the other videos here, and I will see you in the next video.